Hi guys, Nick O'Shea from O'Shea and Son Builders. We're sitting here today with Chris Ray from Network Plumbing and Gas. Chris has been our #1 plumbing subcontractor and gas fitter for almost 10 years now. A very good plumber and gas fitter, one that we respect his opinion on when it comes to product, finishing around the outside, all of those sort of things that are really important. So thanks for being with us today, Chris.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your business.
Family-owned business. I've been plumbing now for about 15, 16 years.
Yep.
My own business for about 11 to 12 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and worked for you for about 9 or 10.
Yep. No, that's good, mate. And I guess what we wanted to try to get together and have a bit of a chat about today is trying to work out some things that people, don't know about houses when they're looking to build their house or design their house or even renovate their house. What's some things that they need to be thinking of when it comes to plumbing? Like most people know about, they've got to choose the pretty taps and the sinks and those sort of things and make sure that they're going to work. But what's some other things people need to be thinking about?
Services in general, like whether sewer connection points, water mains, gas mains, like what their options are for that. And stormwater, your point of discharge, to have somewhere to run and get your surface water, your downpipes, to take all that off your block essentially. They would be the main things for me.
Yeah. So one thing that people like and moving into, I guess, a bit more of a green sort of lifestyle is natural gas. People believe that natural gas is a good energy source for their hot water systems, but also for gas cooktops.
Yep.
What sort of things people need to look out for gas?
So APA is the main distributor, like they supply the network or provide the network. They have a pretty simple process. You can call them up, check the availability, if it's in your area. If natural gas isn't, then you always have your suppliers, L-Gas, Supergas, Origin. They will drop out LPG bottles, or you can have in situ, where you fill them up at the same time. So there's a couple of options there when it does come to gas.
Yeah. And so that's, what's the big, I guess, pros and cons if you were to go, say, you wanted to do gas heating, so with your hot water versus an electric or a heat pump?
Yep. So with gas heating, it's most of the time we will install an instantaneous, so that's on demand. So you're using your supply when your taps are on. Electric, it's always heating, so you're always going to be using energy. Therefore, you've got a constant power bill when it's heating up, when it's cooling down. With your gas, or instantaneous in specific, it's on demand. So you're only using and paying for stuff when you're using that hot water.
Yeah, rightio. So tell us, is there, I guess, I know some people living with gas or electric, when you turn your hot water on and you're standing there and you're like, come on, hurry up. Like, what's that all about? And what's the differences of that?
So that's just your draw off. Now, whether it's a gas hot water or an electric, you always have the draw off. You've got the cold water that's sitting in your pipe, which needs to be taken out before your hot water gets through. So to minimize that, it's more of your placement of your hot water system. You've got to kind of get it in a practical spot so that it's closer to your main fixtures, like your en-suites, your kitchen, your main bathroom type of thing that's used the majority of the time, so that it's obviously most efficient for the house.
Yeah, so there's no real difference whether it is gas or electric. You're still going to have
you've still got that dead leg in the pipe, which is the cold water, which has to be taken out before you get your hot water there.
Yeah, cool. We're noticing more of a trend now, and it's something that at O'Shea and Son Builders we really drive towards is trying to build homes with multi-generational ideas. So that means, whether the teenage kids are staying longer, saving up for their deposits, which takes longer, or the older parents are moving in with the families because, the baby boomers are sort of, getting more and more of them, and then, the retirement homes are getting less spaces. So, we're finding we're having to build homes to accommodate that older, separation and those. So the homes are getting a bit bigger. There's more bathrooms in them. So, what's some considerations that we should be thinking about when it comes to, more people living in them, more people having showers at the same time?
Again, it goes to placement of your hot water system and also size. You've got to make it practical for the amount of people and bathrooms that are there. You obviously can't put in a tiny unit when it comes to, you know, 5, 6 people, which you find in a lot of houses these days are going in there. The other main thing would be the volume of the water. You know, like everyone has to have a 500 kPa limit on their house these days. That's just part of the regulations.
Why is that? You know, like what's the main purpose for it?
It's just insurances for everything these days, like all your tapware, everything like that, warranties, they cover to the 500 kPa. It's just a plumbing regulation and a standard that we have to follow as well. With Network Plumbing, we essentially upgrade as a standard your hot and your cold water supplies. So it's a bigger pipe service than what the Australian standards tell you to do. And that's just something we do as a standard, but we always give that extra option if they want to enlarge the cold water supply again. And how that affects it is if you have 2 or 3 taps on, or you might have a shower and someone uses a kitchen sink or something, you don't have as much pressure drop, so therefore you're not getting affected in the bathroom.
Tell us a little bit about what we, you know, that you guys, and when we work together, I guess, as to what people need to be thinking about in order to make sure that their homes aren't flooding every time they get huge downpours.
And it's easy to do in Queensland with some of the
big
amounts of rain that we get. The key to me would be to have a good point of discharge, whether that be a block that's, you know, falling towards the street, so your water can actually get away, or sometimes you do have like stormwater manholes or points, pick-up points throughout those blocks, especially throughout the hilly parts around Brisbane and stuff like that.
No, it's really key, you know, because like you said, we get huge storms sometimes, and you know, you want to make sure that water is going to the right place. So I guess, you know, another key thing that, you know, I guess touched on it a little bit. So when people are looking to buy a new block, something that we always sort of say to people is try to make sure that the block falls the right way. And that's touching on what you're saying is getting the water to a legal point of discharge. So, and checking those services like you touched on at the start. So what I mean by that is ensuring that the house falls from, the block falls from back to front. And if it doesn't go from back to front, what are there? Is there stormwater mains that run at the back, or you know, ability to be able to do it? Because otherwise, you know, I guess, you know, what other challenge can we run into?
Well, sometimes they do have easements essentially, and you might have a pit or a pickup point in the back of the property or somewhere like that. But if you don't have that point of discharge, it makes it extremely difficult to get your water away. You can't go put in surface pits or anything because they have nowhere to run to. Like some ways of doing it, people do put in bigger pits with pump out lines. You could put, you know, design your house around it with rainwater tanks, and then as long as your overflow can still discharge somewhere. But there is ways around it, but ultimately it's more beneficial to have back to front fall.
People need to be looking out for, I guess, when they're, and also thinking about in that design stage. It's so easy to just look at your taps and the pretty things.
Get caught up in the cosmetics of it. You
know? But we've got to make sure that these homes are very durable to be able to withstand the Queensland weather. So
got to be practical as well as, you know, as well as look the part. You have to have your selections, have your ideas, and have everything there set to go to make it easier for all the trades, for it all to flow on.
And that's something that we've been, you know, working together with Joanna from Merge and also Marie on the team who does a lot of the selections and purchasing, ensuring we do have those selections at the start ready to go, you know. Being able to produce great specs and know exactly what we've got when from the start is key to make sure that everything's going to flow really well and save money along the way, because we're not going to have changes and extras and that along the way, because we know what it's all at the start. So.
And as you said before, we like to have that fully inclusive package at the start where people don't get a big surprise at the end, you know, with an extras bill or something. We try and include everything at the start, just to make sure everyone's happy at the end, you know.
Making sure it's going to work for their budgets, you know, and that's why, you know, working together with us to develop those really good specs, it costs that little bit more money at the start, but it saves you so much money in the long run. So much
headache throughout the job as well. Like having those plans and specs and selections done at the start makes all of the trades jobs so much easier.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. Thanks so much for your time today. We really appreciate it and helping us give a bit of an insight. And
all good.
We look forward to doing plenty of houses together in the future, mate. Cheers.
Indeed. Thanks, mate.